Hello and welcome to Doing More. I'm Erica Cardenas and Happy New Year. As we said goodbye to 2020 and happily welcome 2021 with hope and anticipation, we're also proudly preparing to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday and Black History Month. Each year on the third Monday of January, America honors the birth, life, and dreams of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a time to remember his nonviolent fight for freedom, equality, and dignity for all races. In addition, in February, the U.S. celebrates Black History Month, an annual celebration recognizing the achievements, contributions, and central role of African Americans in the U.S. And one organization we're celebrating is the Black Family and Child Services, located in Phoenix, Arizona. This organization was founded in 1984 by Mary Black and works to improve the lives of underserved children and families. With me now is Sean Pearson, CEO of the Black Family and Child Services in Phoenix, Arizona. Sean, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Erica. I appreciate it.
First off, tell us about your wonderful organization and what you do in the community.
Black Family and Child Services is about 36 years old. We were founded by Miss Mary M. Black in 1984, and she was a social worker at heart and by profession. She established this work to promote the well-being of African American families, and since that time, it has developed into serving all the families who come here. As you know, poverty does not care what color we are. And so being housed in South Phoenix, we have encountered every culture and community. Design Institute is also another nonprofit that, as I said, is here on the campus. It was established in 2010 with a focus on education, economic development, and entrepreneurship.
Let's talk a bit about something called the WELL Initiative. What is the WELL Initiative?
I'm excited to share about the WELL. So the WELL is a concept to very strategically and collaboratively form a campus where South Phoenix residents can meet or be met at their point of needs right here at 16th Street and Southern. And so our goal is to acquire all of the land, and this is our permanent pledge to South Phoenix and the community that we're serving.
How can people come forward and contribute to your organization, whether they're a person, an individual, a business? How can people partner with you?
Well, we are welcoming the time, talent, and treasure of all of the community through all of our service provision, our behavioral health program, our essentials program, our foster care. We're looking for more families that are being willing to be foster families. But the easiest way to engage us would be through our website. You can visit us at www.bfcsfamily.org. We always accept monetary contributions. Those are greatly appreciated. But even those that don't have dollars to give, you have a gift to offer to this community through your talents, your lived experiences, and we welcome that volunteerism to support us here on campus.
As we prepare to celebrate Black History Month, why is that so important? Why is honoring and celebrating and recognizing the accomplishments of African Americans so important?
Well, I think the reality is, while we celebrate once a year, over a month, Black history is existing all year long. As we live our lives daily, Black history is being made with great accomplishments. And so this month, I think, can very intentionally be focused on how do we be a light in the midst of some dark circumstances.
Well, Sean, thank you so much for your time, and especially everything that Black Family and Child Services is doing here in our community. You are making such a difference.
Thank you for the support. We welcome you all back to the campus at any time. You're making a tremendous impact in our community as well, so thank you.
The Black Family and Child Services is always serving hundreds of families in the metropolitan Phoenix area and urgently invites your humble support through the donation of unworn children's clothing and shoes, plus your generous tax-deductible contributions. You can receive a dollar-for-dollar Arizona tax credit to reduce or eliminate your state income tax. I'll be right back with more on Doing More right after this. Welcome back to Doing More. We're here at the Black Family and Child Services celebrating family, bravery, and diversity during Black History Month. Did you know that Black History Month originally started as a week-long celebration? Then by 1960s, during the Civil Rights Movement, it turned into a month-long recognition. So by 1976, President Gerald Ford made Black History Month official, which is now celebrated nationally and globally. We headed over to Las Vegas, Nevada, where Cox Communications celebrated Black History Month and honored the contributions made by prominent community leaders. Take a look.
Well, I'm from a little town called Hampton Roads, Virginia, and I moved here by way of Memphis, Tennessee.
Grew up in North Carolina, a little place called Ahoskie. Went to school there at one of the HBCUs, a couple of years. Moved to Washington, D.C., but I always wanted to go to the West Coast.
Here I am, a kid that grew up on the streets, a welfare home. I was the only one out of my mother's three oldest that did not go to the penitentiary, let alone went to college, graduate school.
My life started in foster care. Our home was a home that was filled with kids of every nationality, racial beliefs, and it was just an amazing way to grow up. But I grew up in Tucson, Arizona.
So I came to Las Vegas in 1992 with no prospects, no job, nothing.
My husband and I both had our careers in law enforcement, and he decided in 1993 that we were going to make a move to Las Vegas, and I thought he was nuts.
The thing that really excited me about Las Vegas was that it was constantly reinventing itself, and I felt that this was an opportunity or a place where I could get in and make an impact in the business community as well as the general community as a whole.
The history department decided it was time for Las Vegas to learn how to do oral history.
As corrections officers, while we were in charge for the care, custody, and control of the inmates in our custody, but how do we stop the cycle for people not to come into custody?
So in February, I was sworn in as a court-appointed special advocate, and that work has been rewarding because I see the immediate impact that I have on this child's life.
We deal with the discipline. We deal with the respect. We deal with hygiene. But most importantly, we deal with love.
Some of the parents that I had in jail that just needed to see that someone cared.
When they see us, we get a hug and a handshake. For a lot of those kids, that's the only hug and handshake they'll get until they see us again.
I've been taught the history of Las Vegas by Las Vegans. I can speak about the Black community in a way that I can tell their story because they've taught me how to.
I think it's very important for us to continue to give back to our communities.
I love Las Vegas. I love living here. I love the opportunities.
Men giving up their time, their money, and their passion for these young people. I am proud to be one of the 100.
If you could just save one life, then it's made it all worth it.
Along the way, we also stopped and visited a museum in Oklahoma built and designed for the arts and Oklahoma's ever-changing sky. Take a look.
The Oklahoma Contemporary Arts Center moved to a new location just this last March, but getting there took about 10 years of planning. The impetus for our move really started with the fact that we realized that we had no more room to grow.
Oklahoma Contemporary's new site is located near downtown Oklahoma City. It's on the north edge of what's known as Automobile Alley on 11th and Broadway Avenue. And the site is about a 4.5 acre site that was purchased with basically no buildings on it except for an existing 10,000 square foot old single-story brick warehouse building. It was about 100 years old, and that facility and that building was completely renovated as part of this project to serve as our studios building. The main building, also known as Folding Light, is located in the center of that 4.5 acre site.
In looking for architects, it's not in our mission to have invited a star architect from afar to build a big building for us. Our mission revolves around arts education. Rand might have been the second or third board member to join Oklahoma Contemporary's board, some 30 years ago. So in looking at the different applications we got from architects, it was our feeling that Rand was the most knowledgeable, the most familiar with our mission, and that he would do the best job of providing us with a plan for a building that would meet our needs.
In talking about the construction of the building, we had responsibilities to do a building that was economical. We had responsibilities of doing a building that met the functional requirements. We needed to build a building that really did have a spirit and a sensibility to it that would be something that you would remember. And so all of that has to be constructed. And so you have to put all of those pieces together. And the construction part of it, underneath the skin, is far more complex than what you see on the surface.
I did provide some information to Rand on the look and the feel of the building. The only thing I asked him for was a box, because I felt like a box that's so flexible, easy to move around, big open floors. And in the end, Rand did deliver a box, but it's more like a jewel box. It's really beautiful what he did. We'd like for everyone to come to Oklahoma Contemporary, enjoy themselves, to be inspired, and hopefully they leave with also a desire to come back.
The Oklahoma Contemporary Museum is a center to learn more about the contemporary arts, artists, and creative practice. To learn more, just head over to their website. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Doing More, where we shine a light on the good things happening in our communities. We're here at the Black Family and Child Services Maya Angelou Library, celebrating Black History Month. Did you know that Martin Luther King Jr. was an American Christian minister and activist who became the most visible spokesperson and leader in the civil rights movement? Dr. King is best known for advancing civil rights through nonviolence and civil disobedience, inspired by his Christian beliefs and the nonviolent activism of Mahatma Gandhi. And speaking of Dr. King, we visited with the Community Celebrating Diversity organization in Scottsdale, Arizona, who passionately celebrates the life, legacy, and mission of Dr. King.
I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream.
Community Celebrating Diversity was first originated in 1993 by Sandra Rembrandt and Don Logan. A couple individuals that came together and decided that, there needed to be a dedicated event for Martin Luther King here in the Scottsdale community. And it was important that Scottsdale come together and embrace diversity and inclusion and understand the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King.
The MLK Celebration Dinner event is an annual event and has been ongoing for the last 27 years. And it's a great way for people to come and gather together and celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
So the MLK dinner, for the first time ever, we're going to go into a virtual session because of the pandemic. But historically, this has been an opportunity for people to come together and really understand the message of Dr. Martin Luther King, his message of peace and unity. We've had amazing speakers. This year, for the first time, we'll be going virtual, and we'll have a great opportunity to hear from Ken Whitakay Jr., who's the member behind the Free Hugs Project. Ken's been just so dynamic. He has such an amazing story going into areas with high racial tension and really having people understand each other and bring a better message of what people can do to understand each other in our community.
I know how important it is for me to actively pursue that change, and how important it is for all of us to do things that help us progress better as a society, to create change.
So our Youth Voices event is one of my personal favorites that we co-sponsor with Scottsdale Unified School District. And what we do is we bring in our keynote speaker for our annual celebration dinner event, and we adapt it to our middle school and high schoolers. Although it be virtual this year, we are able to get a greater network of students and schools that we've never had outreach to before.
Year to date, Community Celebrating Diversity has added the opportunity to award 45 students scholarships with almost $110,000. We're also going to be awarding another 5 scholarships thanks to the partnership from all of our sponsors in the community helping to really help young men and women look at that dream of college, and CCD has been a large part of helping so many people find that dream of getting to college. It's been so instrumental having a partnership with Cox, APS, Nationwide, some of our largest sponsors. There's so many other sponsors I could name, but these are companies that understand the diversity of their companies and their culture. They believe in this. Under the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, he built a foundation that we should never forget. And I think that's something that's so critical, from our children to all our friends and family, that we take time to be an example of what diversity and inclusion can be and why this can make all of us a stronger nation because of it.
Our friends, the San Diego Food Bank in San Diego, California, continue to serve tens of thousands of people every month. Take a look.
Welcome to the Jacobs & Cushman San Diego Food Bank and our 90,000 square foot facility. Last year, we pushed through over 32 million pounds of food. 10.5 million pounds of that was fresh produce. And we feed 350,000 people every single month. How do we do it? Well, we are supply chain at its very best. Our distribution model includes 214 bulk food distributions that we are doing each and every month. Plus, we have a core of 500 nonprofit agencies that we partner with. So any nonprofit you know that has a feeding program, more likely than not, they're getting the majority of their food from the San Diego or North County Food Bank. Who is the face of hunger? We estimate about 1 in 7 people in San Diego County, about 450,000 people, are termed food insecure. Of that number, about 177,000 are children. So our service population: working poor, seniors on a fixed income, children living in poverty, and believe it or not, active duty military, their dependents, and veterans. All this population, all these people, they don't know where the next meal is coming from. The San Diego Food Bank is a completely local and independent nonprofit organization that depends on the kindness of others. None of our important work happens without the support of great donors who really partner with the San Diego Food Bank to make our programs and services possible. We also depend on a huge volunteer base. Our volunteers are an integral part of our supply chain. We have 20,000 registered volunteers, over 28,000 volunteer visits a year, and because of those volunteers, we're able to feed more than 350,000 people every single month. Many people ask, how can I help? You can volunteer for the San Diego Food Bank. Volunteers are the lifeblood of our organization. Just go to sandiegofoodbank.org, register to volunteer. No group is too small, no group is too large, but those volunteers are integral to our success in feeding the community. Another way you can help is by hosting a food drive. Each year we hold thousands of food drives, and they raise millions of pounds of food for people in need. So just go online and register your group, your company, or your organization. It's that easy. Another great way to support the San Diego Food Bank is through our virtual food drive, where you can literally buy food on our behalf. Just go on and register, and we can even customize a virtual food drive for your organization, your company, your employees, where you receive a special link just for you to help raise food and track your impact. Lastly, another great way to make an impact is to go online and make a financial contribution to the San Diego or North County Food Bank. We can actually take $1 and leverage that into 5 meals. And I don't know another nonprofit organization that can take a donor dollar that far. You can also make a gift in somebody's honor, and you and that individual receive a letter of thanks from the San Diego Food Bank. On behalf of the San Diego Food Bank, our staff, our volunteers, and the 350,000 people we serve every month, thank you for helping us fight hunger and feed hope in San Diego County.
The food bank distributes millions of pounds of food and serves approximately 350,000 people each month in the San Diego County. What a great way of doing more. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Doing More. We're here celebrating Black History Month at the Black Family and Child Services here in their Maya Angelou Library as we recognize the outstanding accomplishments of African American leaders. Our final stop was to pay a visit to our brave healthcare workers, those who've been on the front lines battling sickness, all in the name of humanity, family, and love. Take a look.
My mom, she was my inspiration for becoming a nurse. I missed my mom and the ability to show her physical love.
My family lives 6 hours north. I would go once or twice a month to go see them. But starting at the end of March, I stopped going up because it's very dangerous.
My parents, they wouldn't mind if I was there all the time. But I've pulled away. I miss the freedom of just going over there and hanging out and not having to worry.
My mom, she's always looking after you and making sure you're fed. So I miss that about her a lot.
My mom, she would make a Puerto Rican dish or an Italian dish, and those were always so delicious. My mom, she loves to feed us. So she'd call me, hey, I made this or I made that, but I would make up excuses not to be around. Oh my God, I'm about to cry. It's so good, thank you.
That is incredible.
I sent you some files and you've been working so hard.
Oh my God, they're so good.
Okay, how proud I am. And I miss you.
Ha extrañado mucho la comida y de estar juntos.
You got everything in here that I wanted.
Gracias, Mom. Gracias, Dad, por la comida.
I love you.
I love you more. Thank you so much. This really made my day.
I want to thank Sean Pearson from the Black Family and Child Services for allowing us to tour this amazing organization as we celebrate Black History Month. The impact African Americans have made in the U.S. is part of our collective consciousness and history, and it poetically springs out through family, the arts, food, sports, innovation to our leaders, scholars, and the legacy of our nation. So as the great Maya Angelou once shared, love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination, full of hope. So remember, Black history belongs to all of us and should be celebrated every day. I'm Erica Cardenas. Thanks for joining me.